Hello. Kevin here. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. It is that time of the week when I turn on the camera and just talk at you for an inappropriately long amount of time. And for some reason, some of you seem to watch it, which is very heartwarming. Last week's vlog was a little bit less of an upper. So this week has got to be super positive, right? Well, so I guess the positive news is that I do have my Windows machine set up and it's got 3 monitors and stuff now. And so I'm actually trying to record this on my Windows machine. We're going to see if that works. I'm imagining that the webcam is going to look a little bit different. So I apologize if the video quality is not quite up to snuff because I am recording this a little bit differently from usual. And I'm going to try and edit it on this machine and it'll be wonderful. We're in transition here. Man, this was a rough day. Rougher than most days in recent memories. For yet again, no reason. This is the most frustrating thing about just, I don't know, life. Because this isn't like, oh, well, here's the thing about epilepsy, or here's the thing about being a fat person. It's just like, this is what life is like. It is frustrating when you have a bad day and there's no particular reason why. Now, I do take some solace in the fact that I was able to recognize during the day that I was having a bad day. I'm going to have to move this OBS screen to a different monitor because otherwise I'm just staring at my face and it's weird. But there's some solace in you wake up and you go, and when I was in high school, there were days where it just seemed weird that everyone else seemed to be having a bad day on the same day. Now, I recognize that when that happens, maybe it's me. Like maybe that's what's going on. It's not that everybody else in the universe is crabby today. Maybe I'm the one with a little bit of a problem. So at least I'm able to recognize it. There's the upside. I don't know what is up with me. Lately and particularly today, just a really rough day, and all I could think about, I want to talk about friendship today, which is the thing I don't really talk about because I don't know. I also apologize. I have an extension cable that's coming, but in the meantime, the PC tower has its exhaust fan pointed somewhat in this direction, so I don't know if that's coming through. If it is, I apologize. But I want to talk about friendship. I was thinking about this. I was actually going to go ahead and record this early in the morning tomorrow. And I was like, nope. I was lying down to bed and I was thinking, and I was like, nope, I want to get up and I want to get this sort of off my chest. Because that's what you are, Internet. I hate to disappoint you. I would love to sit here and say like, oh, look, I'm preparing all of this wonderful content for you. But no, a lot of it is I have thoughts and I need to get them off of my chest. And it's like, hey, I'm making a video, so why not use that as the dumping ground for all these things? Like, what are the levels of friendship? I think so. Like the top of the relationship pyramid is like relationships, right? Like there are granted there are a bunch of people for whom their spouse is not their best friend, and I think that's probably sad, but it's probably true. And maybe it's not sad. Maybe it's entirely fine. Like if you happen to be best buds with someone, you're not in a relationship with them, but the relationship that you do have, both of you are perfectly happy, then maybe that's not sad. Maybe that's entirely fine. I don't know. That's not something I have really any experience with. But okay, so we'll ignore that whole like spousal relationship thing where it's like, oh, this is the person I can tell all my secrets to and who's always there and who I'm always there for, and just wonderful happiness, rainbows, happily ever after type of relationship. The next level of relationship, I think, if you're going to try and just rank, because there are the friends who like you can call me like let's hang out. That's a certain level of friend. There's the friend who you'd be like, I'm moving. Can I buy you pizza and beer and you help me move a couch? Like friends that you call to help move a couch. I think the top tier, just shy of relationships in the romantic monogamy whatever sense, are kidney friends. So A kidney friend. I was thinking about this. The basic, what's the most crazy thing you could have to ask a friend for, or rely on a friend to help you out with? And I think it'd be a kidney, right? That's probably got to be like the highest level of friendship. And I was thinking, like, I think I have 2 kidney friends. Now, granted, when I say that I have 2 kidney friends, these are people that, yes, I would give a kidney for. But these are not people I would ever ask for a kidney. Oh God, no. There is nobody who's ever come close to being the type of person that I would just ask for a kidney. That's more of a me thing than a them thing. If I were like in a coma, though, I would not be surprised. I'd be incredibly grateful, but I would not be shocked. No, I guess I would be shocked. I don't know. If I woke up from a coma and discovered that they had donated a kidney, it would not seem wholly out of character and inappropriate for that level of relationship, if I'm getting across anything at all. And I have 2 of those sorts of friends. Both of those friends are in very happy relationships of their own. They have, and I don't talk to them super often. One of them I talk to slightly more often. But yeah, I have 2 kidney friends. Below that, there's this big gap. I mean, so the one thing is, I guess there are some people that I know that seem to have friends that like they hang out all the time. That like your kidney friend is also the person that you see every day. Or you see on a fairly regular basis, you hang out all the time. I don't have those sort of relationships with my kidney friends, but I do have kind of deep, trusting, vulnerable relationships with my kidney friends, which is great. It's not, it's not the type of relationship where we hang out all the time. It's not the type of relationship where it's like, okay, I'm filling up my social Sims character need bar all the time. But it's like, if everything is terrible, if there's an apocalypse, if there's a zombie apocalypse, you've been turned into a zombie, I'm going to think very, 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 very hard before shooting you in the face. It's going to be like super, super crazy difficult. I don't know if I'm expressing what a kidney friend is, but okay. So you've got that kind of friend, and for some people, there's this whole additional component of like, oh, this is the BFF that I spent a whole bunch of time with. That's not the case with me, but they are nonetheless kidney friends. Below that, there seems to be a gap for me. For most people, they're like, oh, and these are the people that I see all the time. Well, so here's the problem with working remotely and spending most of my hobby time doing internet things, and spending the not internet thing time doing, playing the piano or reading lots of books, or spending time watching Netflix, or doing, wasting time. Basically, I don't have many of those relationships. Then below that, I have people who not necessarily kidney friends, but like, ride to the airport friends and move a couch friends, like that level of friends. People who used to be in that category. I don't really think that I have many people in that category now, which is, I don't know. Maybe I've been slacking off. I don't know. I mean, there are a couple. Part of this is having kind of relocated and not made many contacts when I was in New York, and then having come back. So there are people who are like former, where I'm like, I could call up and I'd be like, could I get it right for the airport? And they're like, I haven't talked to you in 6 years, but I guess I kind of have to say yes, right? So I just don't. I don't ever ask people for rides to the airport. I figure that out on my own, because I'm an adult with suspenders, apparently. I don't know. I should get suspenders. I wonder if that'd be better for someone of my size. And then below that, there's all of the people that where they're the people for whom the responsibility of maintaining the relationship, and this sounds terrible, this is just know that I am very aware that I'm a very broken person, and this is not an attitude that I should have. There's the level of people for whom keeping up with the relationship is not worth what comes out of the relationship. Just the people who are like, I have to, shoot, I'm supposed to know like what you do and what you like and what your lifestyle is and who you're dating or interested in or how many kids you have, for all of those. I'm just like, I don't know. And it's just, and so if I see them, it is more stressful than relieving to see them. It's not that they are bad people. They're probably kidney friends to thousands of people. I don't know. They're wonderful people, but it's just that because the relationship, it's not an indictment of them. It's an indictment of the state of the relationship, where it's just like, oh man, the maintenance costs make encountering you like a net negative. Part of that's also just me not remembering people at all and it being super awkward and just me generally being uncomfortable with people. So I'm not good at people at all. But I was thinking today, so I was to bring things back around now that I've talked about my hierarchy of relationships. I was thinking about today, and I realized that I was irritated, and random things were coming up, and I was just getting irritated about for no particular reason other than just I was in an irritable mood. And the thought crossed my mind, as it so often does when I'm in an irritable mood. It's like, man, I wish I had a friend to just chat with right now. And I'm just realizing now, I didn't mention Alex in that tier of friendships. Alex is kind of in a weird category, not a kidney friend, but below a kidney friend, not like a person who falls into... Anyway. Now I'm just nervous that I'm like omitting specific people that feel miffed if they're not categorized correctly. I don't want people to feel that they're put into a particular tier. But anyway, I mean, there's to some extent there is a distinction between internet friends, even though Alex and I have met in person, and Alex is just as much of a person in person than he is on the internet, which is great. But there is a distinction from people that you see on a regular basis and people that you talk with on the internet. Anyway, I was irritable. I was having an irritable day. I was having a day, and I just felt like, man, I wish I just could I don't know, play video games with a friend, go out to dinner with a friend, do anything, even just sit, drink a cup of coffee and just vent to a friend. And then the problem though is that it's usually the venting, right? I don't know if this is true for most people, but it's certainly true for me, is that when I'm in a bad mood, what I most want to do more than anything else is to find someone who will tolerate it and just complain. This is all that I want to do. Oh my God. This is, and I think this is something that requires more than a kidney friend, because there's a big difference between being able to be like, yeah, I will give you my kidney. I love you. I care so much about what happens that I will risk whatever the risks of operations are. I will give you kidney. And then there's just you are just a very toxic person right now. And you realize this. You realize that today you are feeling particularly toxic, and you have decided that today you are going to come to seek me out and just spew all of this toxicity in my general direction. That requires a certain level of relationship or friendship that I don't know. I feel like it may be more than than a mere kidney friend. But man, it's frustrating to think that there are types of relationships that are, or rather that I don't know exactly why it is that so to some extent, the internet serves as a surrogate for a lot of my social interaction, and that's probably not a healthy thing. I do sometimes get frustrated, I tweet out something and I think it's hilarious, and nobody interacts with it, and I go, but I'm fantastic, validate me. Because you start to treat the internet as though it were just this group of friends. Where if you say something funny in a group of friends and everybody remains completely silent, it's reasonable to feel kind of miffed by that response. When you send something out on the internet, sometimes people just don't see it. There's no reason to go wow, nobody interacted with this thing I said. I'm going to take that as everyone deliberately deciding to remain silent, not even just be like, oh, we're just going to small talk our way out of this, or, so it's a different type of thing. And you start to see this internet as just this kind of amorphous relationship where you're just like, I don't even know who I'm talking. It's as though you had a whole bunch of people just on a whirling dervish of chairs, and you're just having a conversation. You don't know who's going to respond on the not your part of the conversation, but you are just having a continual conversation, and it can be great. But sometimes the internet completely lets you down in that regard. You are irritable or you're cranky and you're just like, I just want to vent. And no one wants to hear people vent. People, you can sometimes get people to rally behind you if you have things where, sometimes if it's particularly serious, then, people will jump in and try and be supportive if it's, something that's really life-changing, or if it's something that other people can jump on the bandwagon with, if it's something that people can be indignant about with you, then that's something that people can get on board with. But if you're generally just having a crappy day, that's not something that a random public internet stranger cares about. And why should they? I certainly don't have, I wouldn't expect, I would be surprised if other people expected the same from me. So it's sort of weird. But it does get me thinking about, why is it that whenever this happens, whenever I go, oh man, I just wish the times when I am most lonely, because I am not a social person, it requires a lot of effort for me to go out, for me to interact with people. And since I moved back, there have been plenty of people who reached out and be like, let's hang out. And I have a little bit, not a lot, but for me, a lot. I'm not good at any of that. But the times when I do feel lonely, because I think I've sort of shielded myself from that response to some extent, the times when I feel isolated and lonely and just completely alone are the times when I am just feeling completely miserable and toxic. Why are those the times I'm like, I should have some friends right now, or I should contact friends right now, which is worse. I prevent myself from doing this, but why? The only time when I think to reach out, and it was like, I need a better social network, is when I'm feeling miserable. That's the worst time to be a good friend to people. Certainly, and it's an even worse time to make new friends. Who wants to be that person's friend? I've got a whole bunch of baggage here that I need you to help me sort through. Who wants in? Like, that's not. Why is it never the case that I'm having a day where I feel completely elated and everything is going wonderfully, and I say, oh man, I wish I had someone to share this with? Why is that not the way that my mind works? Is this something that's unusual? Is this something that's weird about me, or is this something about humans? Because I think it's a flaw either way. I don't know if it's a flaw with me or if it's a flaw with humans, which I guess is part of why I feel sort of less self-conscious about it. Because either way, it's a problem, and I suspect it's not just me. When we feel the most need for closeness and support, it tends to be during negative times. And why? And more importantly, how can we cultivate that sort of attitude of going, yeah, this is a wonderful moment. I need to develop more friendships so that we can all experience this together, because that would just be wonderful. That's sort of what I'm thinking about, because, yeah, it was a rough day, and I was going, man, I need more friends. And I was going, why? Why is this the time that I need more friends? Because I'm frustrated. Like, I will get over me being in a bad mood. Generally, going to sleep for 8 hours is like all it takes. It's like a really, really simple problem to fix. Like, just get through the end of the day and go to bed. That's all that has to happen. And then things are fine. In some cases, like last week, I was really infuriated before I recorded the podcast. And then actually just having the podcast with Alex was super chilling as well. But generally speaking, it's really just sleep, and then everything will be better. Like, there's no reason to feel like, oh, this is the sort of thing that needs, we need a village to conquer this problem. And yet, that's what happens with me. Let me know what you think. Is this something that's common with you too? Do you find yourself, I mean, maybe you're the type of person that does have a lot of relationships. You have the type of people that you can talk to and feel comfortable talking to when you're having a bad day. Do you, but I feel like I'm poisonous sometimes, and those are not the times. But if you don't, or if you do, just generally, tell me your thoughts. Do you tend to seek out relationships or tend to reach out to friends when you're in a good mood or when you're in a bad mood? Does it tend to lean in one direction or the other? Is this something that's sort of just this is part of the human experience, we're weird, we know, or is that just, I need to work on being a better version of human, which is, I don't know, either one is possible. This was less depressing than I thought it was going to be, so I appreciate you sticking through. If you're hearing this, you did. So thank you very much for listening, for watching. I have been putting stuff out all over the rest of the internet, so keep an eye out for all of the videos and podcasts and blah, blah, blah over there. I also opened my P.O. box today, so I think I could set up an email list. It's the 90s again. And maybe look at expanding some additional stuff. But I'll keep you all advised to that. Other than that, I will see you all next week. Same time. Not same time. I'm not reliable about upload times, but same day, certainly. So have a good rest of your week, and I hope you're doing well. If you have some friends, and if you lean on them sometimes when you're cranky and you don't always reach out to them when you're cheery, take a moment now and just text them. Send a text or a Snapchat or a Wii U or I don't know, whatever the kids, just tell them like, hey, thanks for being a good friend. Because you know what? It'll make them feel just a little bit better. So have a good one. Cheers.